Hello everyone, this is Empire Sports, your home for all your favorite New York State sports teams here on WTOP 10. I'm Matt Moran, and tonight we have Gary Ellison and Sam Watkins. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thank you, Matt.
Now let's get to our headlines for the show, and this is a huge topic that is even bigger than the game of basketball itself. On Sunday, the Nets signed center Jason Collins to a 10-day contract. Now, if you remember, Collins went on the national spotlight when he announced that he was gay back in April, and now with the signing by Brooklyn, he is now the first openly gay athlete to play in ever the four major sports. How does this impact the NBA, guys?
Well, as a fan, I love to see what the Nets are doing. I mean, Collins is going to be able to contribute, but how much is he going to be able to contribute? I mean, he isn't a young player anymore, and when you sign a guy to a 10-day contract, it's going to raise some questions. I mean, could this possibly be a publicity stunt by the Nets? Unfortunately, I think it is. I mean, 10-day contract, you want to try out a guy and see if he's going to be worthy of playing for the team for the rest of the season. But of all the guys signed to a 10-day contract, Jason Collins, I mean, this clearly is a little fishy to me, and I think there's some more things behind this that we're not being told.
What about you, Gary?
Well, personally, I think Sam's right. Their current record is 26-28, and they want to get above 500, obviously. So what's their plan? Hey, let's get a 35-year-old center. I'm all about gay rights and all of that. It really is very, very progressive for the league, but I don't think he's going to do anything positive for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, and really, for the Nets overall, do you think that it's a possibility that this guy can actually make an impact on a team? Like you saw in his opening debut, he had 0 points, I believe about 2 rebounds. So really, not a big player that's going to make a huge impact. Just seems like he's going to get a lot of eyes on the team for now, at least.
Yeah, for now, at least, is very important. I mean, he is 35 years old, and he's a center. And look at the guy they're asking him to fill in for, Brook Lopez. We're all New Yorkers. We know how angry and aggressive New York fans can be. When this whole initial happiness wears off, and you start seeing that he's not a great player anymore, they're not going to be praising him anymore. They're going to be criticizing him for his poor play. At that point, I think the Nets are going to cut him, and this little publicity stunt, which I'm sure it is going to be over for them.
I think you're right, Sam. The only real excuse you can use for Jason Collins is that he's a veteran player who'll give that leadership. But guess what? They have so much of it. They're kind of overfilled with it. It doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, and well, now let's keep the basketball in New York with a headline about Raymond Felton today, arrested on gun charges. Oof. Really, guys, this has been a season of just constant flow of bad headlines for the Knicks.
Yeah, the season has been a waste, honestly, for the Knicks. And being a Knicks fan, I have no problem saying that because it is. I mean, it's like James Dolan is holding the team hostage, and considering he's the owner, there's very few ways you're going to be able to get rid of him. I mean, we've seen this before, Plaxico Burress, and in the NBA, we saw Gilbert Arenas. But I mean, when is it going to stop for the Knicks? Clearly things aren't going right. They're not bringing in the right crop of talent. I mean, they're still in a position to make the playoffs, but the season's already over. Even if they do make the playoffs, do you seriously think they're going to be able to compete with teams like Indiana, Miami, and even middle-tier teams like Washington and Atlanta? I don't think so.
Matt, personally, what I love about Knicks fans is they have so much faith in their team, but guess what? They know there's no hope when it comes down to it. The Knicks are just done this season. What can you do with Raymond Felton with a charge like this? That is just so major, not in the sports world, but just in the world in general, just because it's such
it seems
gun
like
control.
These Knicks, we know J.R. Smith, they're doing things during the game, pulling people's shoestrings, pulling, at the tags and stuff like that. It just seems like the Knicks are just falling off and really sinking very fast.
Yeah, I mean, being a Knicks fan for years, I can honestly say this is the most embarrassed I've ever been with the team. There have been plenty of bad seasons. Most of the 2000s for the Knicks were bad. But even when they weren't winning, they were still holding themselves to some standard and playing with dignity on the court. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. Raymond Felton with a gun threatening his wife, probation for 6 months. I mean, I liked Felton before this, but now I don't really consider him one of the good guys as I previously thought he was. I mean, just close your eyes and hope the season will be over when you wake up if you're in the Knicks.
I agree, Sam. He lost about 10 to 15 pounds over the summer. I thought he was going to come in great. Only averaging about 10 points, and his three-point percentage is about 29%. Absolutely terrible. And it's really, really a funny thing where your second hardest player is the rookie Tim Hardaway.
That is very true. And I remember Skip Bayless tweeting today saying the joke of the day, the New York Knicks, and that's really how it's been so far this season. Now let's move over to the college hoops, where Syracuse has suffered now 2 losses past week. Did beat Maryland on Monday, but they dropped to number 4 in the AP pool. What is the state of Syracuse basketball right now, guys?
Had they finished out that win against Maryland strong, I would have said they were putting the last 2 losses behind them. But considering how big of a lead they blew, how close they came to blowing that one again, I might as well consider this another loss for Syracuse. When you almost lose to a team like Maryland, they had a chance to rebound, have a nice win. They blew it and cut it to a 2-point lead just over a minute to go. I mean, when you're an undefeated team, 25-0, you almost lose 3 in a row. I mean, all momentum is gone right now. I mean, they still have a few games left. There's not time to turn things around, but if you're Syracuse, you got to be reconsidering things and figuring out why you're blowing all these leads late.
Sam, you're right, man. The first 9 games of the season, they blew out teams by at least 9 points. Now they're struggling to just get over 2, even 1. And it's really, really a shame when your coach Boeheim actually helps you lose. The coach. He gives other team free throws. That's really a shame.
Yeah, and really, it seemed like they were sneaking game wins all the time. You know, ever since I feel like that win against Duke up in Carrier Dome, it really just they've been slipping away. They barely beat Notre Dame. And, you know, we see that they barely beat Pitt. It seems that overall that this team that really, though many people were thinking that this team could go undefeated, they were just not really playing that well. And now. Right now, do you think that even Syracuse will even finish as number 1 seed going into the tournament?
No.
You don't think so? And that's the thing. And yourself, Gary, you're a fan of the Syracuse basketball.
Yeah, I've been to a few games.
Of course, and and you're saying that this team that was number 1 just last week most likely will not be a number 1 seed come Selection Sunday. And really, this team could be a team that just falls right out of the tournament very quickly by a shocker. And it really. What do you, on your take, Sam, on the whole state of Syracuse basketball going forward? Really, they have this big game coming up on Saturday against Virginia. Then they got the ACC tournament, which is going to be very tough. Do you see them building up back and becoming a number 1 seed?
I think they have what it takes to get it done. I mean, the thing with this team is you don't know what they're going to do. It's unpredictable and inconsistency. Now, honestly, I love Tyler Ennis. It all starts with him. I mean, would you rather have a superstar player who on some days can be below average or a slightly above average player every night? I mean, I'd rather have the above average player every night than a guy who sometimes performs like a top player in college and sometimes can't even get 10 points a game. So I mean, heading into the tournament for Syracuse, this next week I'm going to say is the most important week of the season because they need to figure out things sooner. This entire season is going to go in the dumps quickly if they get eliminated in the first or second round.
And what about you? Like, what do you think? What is your expectations for this game against Virginia against Cavaliers on Saturday?
It's just who shows up, CJ Fair really has to get his act together. It really comes down to he's shooting below 40% against that game at Duke, but the game before that he was shooting over 50, almost like 70%. It was a truly amazing performance, and now he's just looking lackluster.
Yeah, and really, we'll see how it all works out for SU hoops going forward. We're going to go to a break. On the other side, we'll be talking some NBA action. You're watching Empire Sports.
How's it going? Guys, this is my cousin Rob from Michigan.
What's up?
He's a teenager.
Hey, what's up? All right. Oh, hey, you want to slow down?
No.
Really? Huh. Hey, you know what a beautiful animal is? A horse. A horse. Yeah. Beautiful mane. Unbelievable muscle tone. When it runs, it looks like poetry in motion. It's the most beautiful thing on earth. And sometimes when you feed a horse, its lips will tickle your hand. Just tickle it just a little bit. It makes me giggle sometimes. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you don't slow down, I'm going to bite into your head like an apple. And thanks, guys, for listening to my horse stories. I could talk about ponies all day long.
Rob, what's up? How's it going?
guys, you should watch our show on WTOP.
What? You mean WTOP?
No, it's WTOP.
No, it's WTOP.
Who told you that?
Welcome back. Now let's talk some New York basketball. First with the Nets. They have been on a road trip for the past 4 games, and they still have 3 games to go. How do you think this crazy West Coast road trip is affecting the Nets' fatigue going to the end of the season with these veterans like Garnett and Pierce?
Well, veterans is a key word. I mean, these guys have been playing in the league for over a decade now, and obviously it's going to take some toll. But I'm looking to Jason Kidd to make sure they don't overwork themselves. Kidd, we know, loves to push guys hard. He loved to push himself hard during his career. I think he needs to strike a fine balance between pushing them to get ready and make the playoff push towards the end of the season and not overworking the guys to the fact that they can't even perform on the court anymore.
Yeah, Matt. There's a reason why my grandfather doesn't leave the house. He's old. They're all old. The whole team is old. In November, they went on a 10-game road trip and they went 7-2. It's not looking good for them. I think they really need to push the younger players like Singleton, and just hope for them. Get Darren Williams going as well.
Of course, and really they are moving into that playoff position, but how far up in the seeding can they go? You know, overall, what do you think, Sam? That how far can this go overall, just in the Eastern Conference playoffs and in general in the standings?
Well, let me start by saying I don't think the Nets are one of the top teams in the NBA. But with that being said, I think they're one of the top teams in the East. So I honestly think the Nets can finish. Right now, they're only 4 games out of the 3rd seed. And with so many games left in the season, I see no reason why they can't climb up. They're performing much better since the second half of the season after the All-Star break. And although they're going to be on a road trip, I don't think they're going to struggle too much. This team looks poised and ready to make a run for the playoffs. So I think they could realistically finish 3 through 5 in the East.
And let's keep it with the Nets with the signing of Thornton and Collins. Pretty much most of this team has already filled with great mix of veterans, star players, and young talent. How do you think they make their impact? Of course, we already talked about Collins, but what about Thornton?
Gary?
I think Thornton's just a great player overall. He, as you said, he brings youth to the team, which I think is just so necessary for an old team like them. A lot of veterans, but now they have people to put under their wings like Singleton and now Thornton. He did good in Sacramento, and I think he's going to do great things in Brooklyn.
Yeah, exactly. You need to have the right number of veterans to combine with the number of young players. I mean, Pierce and Garnett can't do it all. They are old, as we said earlier. And with Brook Lopez out, you need Joe Johnson and Darren Williams to step up. These guys aren't the youngest in the team, but they're still capable of putting up the big numbers. You know, there's been some disappointment with D. Will and Joe Johnson since they came over from Utah and Atlanta. But for the Nets, I mean, they need to find someone to rely on. Johnson and D. Will need to be those guys because you can't count on guys like Pierce and Garnett at this point in their careers.
And that depth will help star players like Williams and Johnson. Now, are we surprised with the fact that now with the deadline passed, the Knicks did not deal Carmelo? Most likely this guy is going to be gone at the end of the season. Do you think the Knicks are in rebuilding mode?
Personally, I think they're just trying to milk as much money as they can get out of Carmelo Anthony. Of course, it would probably be the smart idea to try and get rid of Carmelo Anthony early as possible. And actually get something for him, but that's not how the New York Knicks team thinks. They want to get those jersey sales, they want to get the T-shirt sales, they want to get the headband sales. Anything you can get out of Carmelo Anthony. You got a few more months with him, might as well take advantage of it.
And we know with the release of Meta World Peace and Udrid, you know, that definitely they're showing that they're more just releasing guys and really trying to go out and getting guys that can really make a big impact, try to make a run for the playoffs.
Yeah, honestly, I think James Dolan is delusional. He thought before the season that the Knicks could win a championship, and if you ask me, he still thinks they can win a championship. He's going to keep believing that until they're mathematically eliminated from the playoffs so they can win a championship. That's the kind of owner he's been so far. I mean, they didn't trade Carmelo Anthony because they're a smart team. They traded it because James Dolan has no idea what he's doing. He's not a basketball owner. He shouldn't be owning the Knicks, who should be one of the best teams in the NBA, one of the most storied franchises in the NBA, and he's kind of running the team into the ground, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah, and staying with the Knicks, you know, if the Knicks knew that they were going to be sour at the trade deadline, why didn't they just go out and trade away Carmelo? You know, they could get young talent instead of risking the chance. And he may just walk away at the end of the season, and if he just walks away, it will really just be a bad thing for the New York Knicks overall.
Personally, I think it's just fate. It's just the way it's meant to be. Melo's supposed to walk out of here, and at the beginning of next season, guess what? We're supposed to hate him.
But, you know, overall, why wouldn't the Knicks make the smart decision as just trying to get rid of him and get something out of it?
Welcome to New York.
I guess that's a good quote for Empire Sports right there. Sam, what do you think?
Well, as I said earlier, all starts with James Dolan. If they were to sell him, who would they get back? What team is going to give up their necessary pieces for Carmelo Anthony? He's a great player, yes, but in my opinion, James Dolan sees him as one of the top players in the league and would probably be asking for a ridiculous amount. What team can really take on the load that is Carmelo Anthony? I mean, they heard Miami may be interested in signing him next year. That's next year. The Knicks are going to try to sign guys like Earl Clark and Shannon Brown because they think they're the necessary pieces they're missing. I mean, Jimmer Fredette is the piece they need. They need offense, not defense. And right now, Carmelo Anthony is their only source of offense, so they're going to milk every last point they can out of him.
And really, it's just a mess at MSG. You know, with Felton, with J.R. Smith, with not training away Carmelo, it's tough to be a Knicks fan right now. Now, we are going to be, very true, Sam. We are going to head to a break. On the other side, we'll be talking the MLB on a big rule change in home plate collisions. Stay tuned. You're watching Empire Sports on WTOP 10.
No, I know it's Thursday, but who cares? No, believe me. I know, believe me. I have 100 people going around, man. No, all right, bye. What is this? There's no one here. Where is everybody? Hello? Is anybody home? Nice house party tonight. What is this work and everybody being on Thursday night? There's no one here. Oh my goodness gracious. What is this? No one here. You gotta be kidding me. This is ridiculous. Where is everyone? Where is everybody? Hey, yo. Where you guys going? Wait, hey, no. Dude, you gotta go. Dude, it's home.
It's Thursday night. It's karaoke night.
No, you guys gonna miss out.
So, Malcolm, you do know that energy savers last 6 times longer than ordinary light bulbs.
This isn't my room. It's Baron Davis's.
Baron Davis, the basketball player? This is his room?
Yep.
Interesting, because we have Baron Davis right here. Baron, do you live here?
No.
I don't mean that, Baron Davis.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse?
Welcome back. Yesterday was a historic day in the MLB when a new rule on home plate collisions that benefits both sides of the collision. Guys, is this rule a positive or a negative one for Major League Baseball?
Absolutely negative. I can't stand this rule, and I'll tell you why. I mean, you're putting so much power in the umpires. See fans complaining that umpires are making bad calls? Look how much more power you're giving them. I can guarantee you're going to see at least 2 or 3 calls this year. People are going to be ridiculing the umpires when they make a bad call because it's a bad play at home plate. I mean, I don't see how this is positive. Maybe Gary can reflect on this?
Well, Sam, I do see where you're coming from. I see the passion in your eyes, but I gotta tell you, I'm all about safety when it comes to any sport whatsoever: t-ball, tennis, and baseball. When the catcher gets run over like that, you gotta protect him some way.
How many times do you see a catcher get severely injured? They're calling it the Buster Posey rule. I know we've seen Pete Rose and Ray Fosse in like the '78 All-Star game. Carlos Santana missed some time. But how many times a season do you see a player get run over and have missed a significant amount of time for this? But I mean, you can take it from my mouth, you can take it from A.J. Przinsky, the catcher of the Red Sox, whose voiced his displeasure with this rule. He said the guys come into this league knowing they're going to get hit as part of the game, and they are taught how to properly block the plate so they don't get injured. I mean, he says he signed up to get hit. In my opinion, you're taking something away from the game by taking away the collisions at home plate. I don't want to see guys get hurt, but I think it's ridiculous that you're taking this away.
It's almost like they're turning catchers into the NFL quarterbacks. It's really, catchers are meant to be, they seem like they're defensive players in that position, but they, like you said, Sam, they know what's coming at them. They know the guy's rounding around third and he's coming right at them, and they're going to have to hold on to that ball. And really, this is going to cause a lot of just, this could be a lot of instances where we could see the umpire making a decision that could totally impact the entire game of who wins or loses.
James Joyce. James Joyce is an author. Gary.
Well, what can I say? You guys are right. It's good. It's definitely not going to work out very well for any team whatsoever. But I see where they're coming from. They want to keep their players safe, and they want everyone to have a nice long career.
It's a very tricky situation, that's for sure. Now, on another note, Ike Davis is quickly becoming a problem with the Mets. On the field too. He's been dealing with a major injury last season that exploded to a reporter in the clubhouse. The team was shocked by this outburst, and manager Terry Collins has voiced his displeasure with Davis as of late. What do you think the Mets should do with this developing situation of Ike Davis?
Just grit their teeth and just bear with it, because the Mets need all the help they can get.
But they're not getting any help from Mike Davis. I was a huge Davis supporter. I was pulling for him last year, but he's honestly becoming clubhouse poison. It's spring training, and he's flipping out at reporters for reporting an injury that he held. When you tell a reporter you're injured and expect it to be off the record, you really expect that to be a secret? And even Terry Collins has said he's really upset with Davis that he didn't come out. His teammates were apparently standing there with their jaws dropped, couldn't believe in how Davis was acting with the reporter. I mean, he's not hitting. He's a clubhouse nuisance right now. I mean, there's no reason to keep this guy. I know they're talking about trading for Nick Franklin from the Mariners, who's a shortstop, just like the Mets gratefully need. But I mean, you have Lucas Duda who can play first base. You have Josh Stanton who can play first base. Davis is doing nothing but hurting the team that is already hurt enough as it is.
And really, Gary, like you said, they need all their help they can do, but they can get. But really, when he's just a player that doesn't seem like he's getting a lot of really support in the clubhouse, it might be a better idea to just get rid of him.
Oh yeah, Matt, you're definitely right. But I know Sam mentioned someone they could get for him, but I think they just gotta wait it out. If you make a move too soon, you may actually hurt the team and actually may help the team. Because Ike Davis is still Ike Davis.
That's very, very true. Well, spring training games are just starting up as we saw the Yankees go up against Heisman winner Jameis Winston and the Florida State baseball team today. So opening day will be coming very soon. We're going to take one last break. We're going to wrap this one up with Fact or Fiction. Stay tuned. You're watching Empire Sports on WTOP 10.
SAVAC ambulance respond to a 1 Bravo response, basement of Cuba Hall.
Dispatch, SAVAC 1, en route.
Hey, we're at SAVAC. How can we help you today?
So our show's called Weekend in Oz, but we air on a Wednesday. So
yeah.
What does...
It's really weird.
So it should be like weekday in
Weekday in Oz, or like...
Weeknight?
Weeknight, or like...
Hump day?
Hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day special.
I like hump.
back here on Empire Sports. Before we get to Fact Fiction, remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, join the conversation at Empire Sports OZ. Now, guys, ready for some Fact Fiction questions?
Absolutely, Matt.
Okay, let's get to it. The Nets will give Jason Collins an extension after the 10 days are up.
Fact. The Jason Collins euphoria will survive longer than 10 days. But I think they're going to cut him at some point after the 10 days. So maybe a week after the 10-day contract is extended. See ya.
And I gotta go with fact as well. I think Sam's right. The hype's gonna last a little bit longer. I think he'll get maybe like another 10-day contract, but they'll soon realize that he just can't produce.
I think that it's going to be fiction. I actually think that this is a publicity stunt that they could be extending more and more throughout the entire season, all the way to the end. Now, next question. The Yankees signed former All-Star closer Andrew Bailey to a minor league deal. Now, I know it's just a minor league deal, but do you think there's a possibility this guy be the closer of the Yankees this season?
No, it's David Robertson's job to lose.
I'm going to say facts. Bailey was Rookie of the Year, 2-time All-Star consecutively, but he has some injury problems with the Red Sox. Being a Red Sox fan, I can definitely say it's been tough to watch Bailey or not watch Bailey because he hasn't been healthy. But if he can come back to some extent to the form he was with Oakland, he's going to be the closer. He's going to get a shot at some point, so it's his to lose. So I'm going to say fiction or fact, but Bailey's going to be the closer.
And that's the thing, even though he has dealt with some injuries in the past, I feel like he definitely thinks that he's able to pitch this season. And really, we've seen how he was able to pitch so well, in previous seasons, being picked to the All-Star game twice. I think that this guy could really. I know David Robertson is a good pitcher, but there were just instances, and sometimes when he was put in that closer position, that he just didn't get the job, Sam. And really, I know. Do you think it's just gonna be a battle between the two players? Do you think Robertson has the opening base job? It could be an all-season job to fight for between these two guys.
I like David Robertson in the 8th inning. Don't like him in the 9th inning. I think he's going to get the job out of spring training, but he's going to lose it at some point, I'd say, in the first 2 months of the season.
Okay. Now, next one. Many rumors are saying that the Jets are looking at Michael Vick. Now, what do you think is the actual possibility that he'll be playing in the Meadowlands?
I don't think so. According to Forbes magazine, he's in the top 5 most hated NFL players of all time.
That's very true, and they have a running quarterback like Geno Smith. I don't see why they would sign them, but Sam, what do you think?
Well, that's what Gary said. I like to see top 5 hated franchises of any sport of all time, and I'd probably see the Jets up there. They have a knack for signing players that nobody likes. We've seen it in the past, and the Jets are looking at any option they can to rebuild right now. So I honestly like Mark Sanchez, so I think Vic, I think it's just a rumor. It's just, you're not going to see any of this.
Okay. Finally, Oswego men's hockey plays against Fredonia at home on Wednesday, and if they win, they'll be heading up to Plattsburgh for the semis. Do the Lakers win both games and advance to the Seniac final?
Unfortunately, I'm going to say fiction. They're going to beat Fredonia, but beating Plattsburgh twice in 1 week on the road, I think it's going to be tough. They have a chance, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Sam, I gotta disagree with you, buddy. I gotta shed some Laker pride here. I want to see him take it all the way. I believe, Matt.
You're a believer. I think fact too. It's definitely a possibility that this team can step up, show what they have, and really surprise everyone by being one of the best teams in the country up in Plattsburgh.
I'm lucky. Let me help you with that. I get to do something I love. It has nothing to do with touchdowns or titles. Everybody bring it in. I get to play a part in the life of someone just starting out. How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork? I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
the rundown apart from other newscasts is that it brings students together to voice their opinions on the world's most important political issues.
There seems to be just more events going on in 2012 than there were in previous years combined.
This nation is based on the foundation that we choose the government.
Do we use 1, 2, and 3? We work hard to bring you the most up-to-date, relevant coverage of the stories you should be following. The country has now gone over the fiscal cliff.
Is gun control necessary? How much is too much?
Does it surprise you that it's taken this long to have a serious talk about gun control?